Hello and welcome to another episode of Tubarks Tales, My Adventures in Learning. I'm your learning guide, Stan Scrabbit. In this issue of Tubarks Tales, I'm going to tell you about my recent train trip and some of the things that I learned. Talk to you about password management and also the program LastPass. And finally, introduce some new programs that I think you'll like, something I recently learned. But first, we're going to start off with my trip. So this is TripIt. It's a way that you can kind of capture your trip, and I think it's kind of nice that I can go look at my trip after the fact. But basically, I decided that I didn't want to fly to my class reunion, and looking for alternative ways of getting there, I finally settled in on a train. I'd never taken a train across the states. Thought it would be a lot of fun. So I picked up the train here in Fort Morgan, Colorado, and one of the things that you have to understand about trains in America is they will always be late. And I was not disappointed. I understood this going in, and sure enough, every single train that I got on either took off late or definitely arrived late. So picked up the train in Fort Morgan, took that all the way over to Chicago, and it was a 2-hour train. But the nice thing is the seats were bigger. I could throw my legs up. I could plug in all my devices. Wi-Fi was a little scattered across the states. I'd have it, then I'd lose it. So it'd kind of go back and forth. I kind of figured out once I get near a town, I could do some work. But basically, I worked offline and posted when I had a chance. And then, so I arrived in Chicago about 2 hours late, and then took the train from Chicago to Rochester, New York. And that ended up being about 3 hours late, even though it was supposed to be an 11-hour train trip. So I spent a lot of time on the train. Once I got to Rochester, I took a flight to Seattle and spent some time just north of Seattle, about an hour. I had some business to do up there. And then I flew back just in time for my class reunion down in Tunkhannock, Pennsylvania. Had a wonderful time. And on the way back, took the train back. And it was basically 4 hours late from Rochester to Chicago. And I had just gotten off the train just in time to get on my next train, which was right across the platform. And that was fortunate. And then finally took the train back to Colorado. And that ended up being about 2 hours late. But nice thing about a train car or taking a train is you can get up anytime you want. There's a little lounge car that you can go check out and, just watch the scenery, talk with people. They have some dining cars, the snack bar. Just good opportunity. I recommend if you do it, don't worry about time because that's definitely not on your side doing this. But also have some cash in your pockets. Not always does the plastic machines work. So great opportunity there. One of the recent things that came up is, the Russians stole like 1.2 billion passwords. So this had me rethinking about, password management and programs to do that. I use a program called KeyPass, but I decided I was going to try out this mobile option because it gave me more flexibility, and it's called LastPass. You pay for a subscription to manage your passwords, but the cool thing about it is it works on your computer. It works, on your mobile devices, on your phone, on your tablets, on your iPads. It's pretty nice. The fact that it's kind of cloud-based, so your passwords go back. Important thing is have really a good password to get into it, and that way you can kind of have unique passwords for everything else you do. So on my Chrome browser up on the top, I have this icon, and if I happen to go to a site that requires a password, let me pull out one. So for example, e-services for Civil Air Patrol, I can go to that site and there'll be an icon here showing me that I have different ways of getting into that site. So I can pick this one, and it will automatically fill it out and put in a password. And I just recently changed this password, so it's actually a pretty secure password. It randomly generated and controlled. And if I change that password, I'll get a reminder from LastPass to do that. So, and then, here's the, so it's showing that I have a duplicate password for this. And it allows me to go make a change on that if I wish to. And in here, you can check on your vault. So all your passwords, all the different settings that you have for that. So definitely a program, I'd recommend that you check out. Another thing about password management is really just figuring out good passwords. And, some of the recommendations out there is, having a relatively long password, 10 characters or longer, with symbols and lowercase, uppercase, numbers, all this. But man, if you have all these different passwords, it's really hard to, keep them in mind. So there's some strategies out there that you can do. Is you can create kind of a base password, that you use, certain letter combinations, maybe letter combinations of your brother, and then number combinations, and then, having that as the base password, and then, using some combination, linked in. So LI, would be the ending portion of that password, and you can create some unique passwords. Steve Dotto always recommends his work. He does a great job talking about LastPass and how to use that. So password protection, go out and ramp up what you're doing. Otherwise, your life can be made a little bit miserable. Recently, I had a friend come down to visit, Becky Park, and we happened to go to the store one day, and I was sitting there pulling out my wallet and pulling out my Safeway card and trying to find this, and she turned me on to this program called Keyring. And Keyring allows you to go ahead and save all that information to your phone. So when you pull that up, it'll have the barcode and have coupons that you can use instantly, and it just kind of reduces the amount of cards that you have in your pocket. So far, I'm happy with it. I have to figure out how to leverage it. But the other nice thing is it allows you or introduces to you coupons that you can redeem at these stores, and you can create a grocery list using those various coupons. I think that's pretty cool. I was going to talk to you a little bit about email management. I put a blog post out there recently on email and kind of how to manage your email just a little better. Keeping an empty email box. If you want productivity, turn your email off. Only open it a couple times a day. Check your email. Don't check it all the time. Turn off those notifications because they're just distractors and they take you away from the project you're working on. And one really, I think, a good tip that I think others can benefit is, how to get more out of your responses. So rather than just respond one-on-one, if you can turn it into a blog post and send that individual blog post, you get a lot more traffic out of, sharing your expertise. Something to check in on. And the last thing I want to show is this program called Retromatic. And Dave Ketto, who is our video editor, videographer for Extension, showed me this. And it's just a fun way of putting out, posters and flyers. It's got this retro look to it. Very easy to kind of trace around an individual and just drop it into these posters. They have all these backgrounds. All you have to do is change the wording and it automatically, kind of takes over. So here is some of the work that he put out dealing with this Retromatic. And I just watched him actually do this, while I was sitting at the Wyoming State Fair. But he created this from an image. I don't know if he has that image out there. But basically took an image of speed sitting or seed spitting and created this retro poster. Took a shot of me, put that out there, and he's been doing a couple others since, and just having fun with it. But it gives you an idea of some of the stuff that you can create from this program. So that's all I have for Tubarks Tales this week, and thanks for joining on my learning journey, and we will catch you next time. Bye for now.